Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Infused Transitions. If you are a returning viewer, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you. And if you're brand new, welcome. We are so glad that you're here and that you have joined us. In case this reading or any of the other ones resonate with you, don't forget to hit that like button, as that helps the videos to get out and reach more people who may also benefit from the messages. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell so that you are aware when new content goes up. All readings are timeless, so when you come across the video is the right time for you. And I also wanted just to mention quickly that I am an intuitive reader, which means that what I relay, what I bring to a reading may or may not be what is in the guidebooks that come with the various decks that I use. And always, of course, only take what resonates and leave the rest. And okay, so this reading is actually going to be a little bit different. And I'm thinking if I can figure out how to do it. So those of you who don't know this about me, I'm not into technology. It's not my forte. I'm learning about it. But there still is a lot to learn and a lot to practice. How does that relate, or what does that matter? Well, because I think this is going to be a two-part, if not a three-part series of readings, all pertaining to the same base topic that has kind of come through for me. And that's why you see these cards already drawn, because normally I shuffle and do the reading as what comes out in the moment that I'm recording it. But I have, this is part one, this deck will be part two, and this deck will be part three. So if I can figure out how to do it, once all three videos are made and uploaded, hopefully, I will be able to figure out how to copy paste the links to each one and pin them in the comments section, so you don't have to try to go through all the videos to find part 1, 2, and 3. But you would be able to just go to the comments section and click on the next one that you're ready to view. So with all of that part explained, let me go in and explain the how and the why this three-part series, if you will, mini-series came into being. But I'm going to pause this for just a moment because I need to go turn off the heat because I am hot. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you. Sorry for that interruption. I did also want to mention that I have family here with me, so, things may get loud from time to time, such as life, and yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get going here. So how this all came about to share this, I use Shy through Evermind Oracle. She has an Etsy shop and her own YouTube channel, which I will put both links down in the description box. And she's amazing. She's an amazing reader. And yeah, I would definitely recommend checking her out. if you feel so inclined to do so, both in her YouTube and in her Etsy shop. So she is a fellow Hadarian. I am Hadarian. She is a fellow Hadarian. And I recently had a reading with her. And there were a lot of things that came up around Hadar, being Hadarian, and my role in which I carried out in that lifetime. And even before that was discussion about why I even started this journey in the more dense dimensions, like here, right? And as I was doing this reading, it started out what I thought was I just kind of left it open. I literally just sat down and said, okay, whatever you want to show me, show me. And the very first 3 cards that came out, I just had to laugh out loud. I mean, come on. Because of the reading I had with Shai, and talking about our Hadarian selves. One of the big things that many Hadarians struggle with is being fully present in this reality, in this dimension, with being able to be fully fused, fully seated, fully connected to our physical body that we are in this reality, right? And it's just a challenge that a lot of Hadarians deal with. It may be a challenge that a lot of different people, different races of beings deal with. So this whole reading, this whole series, is for anyone. Again, when you run across it, if it's for you, you'll know if it's for you, if it resonates with you, or not. But, again, I sat down to do this just for myself, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And instead of picking up the cards and putting them away when I was done, I just kind of kept them in the same order, and I moved them over to the side. And then I pulled out this deck, and I laid out the cards, did the shuffling and everything, and saw what came in the story that unfolded, and I saw how that story related to this story. And then I did the same thing with this deck, and it was just really interesting. And so then I was like, okay, thank you, and blah, 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 and I was going to put everything away. And I just really felt impressed upon me to share. I had it whispered to, share, because even though this is your personal reading, right, we often learn from each other, and we can be open to learning from other people's experiences to grow in our own wisdom, our own ascension and evolution, right? Those granules of jewels of growth that people share with us, whether that's knowingly or unknowingly. So this mini series actually was prompted all from my reading with Shai through Evermind Oracle, and I just have to laugh because it's just amazing to me, and she just fills my heart with joy. But so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first 3 cards that came out was Earth School, Inner Earth, and Earthed. Now, again, I just had to laugh because one of my main huge challenges has been being able to not just be grounded, not just be present, but to be, again, fully fused and connected to this body. And even beyond that is this ability to truly be connected and grounded with Gaia. Now, I understand it, of course, intellectually. I've had a few experiences where I actually visualized and went through and felt and experienced that connection, but it wasn't something that was a norm for me to experience. And it's been interesting that the further I've gotten in my journey, the harder it became for me to connect with Gaia. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around that. One of which, though, was this whole theory of, well, I don't want to be sending all my stuff down to Gaia because, oh my goodness, the Earth is in such, challenged states already. I didn't want to contribute to that. Which, of course, I unknowingly brought up and addressed unknowingly in the sense of I never shared with her that's, well, I don't send anything to Gaia, blah, blah, blah. But, again, in her channeling messages and the cards and doing the magic she does, it came through that's a misconception, that's a misunderstanding. And so not only do I not have this truly groundedness with Gaia, I don't have a relationship with Gaia, which is now something that I'll be working on. But so in view of all that, I thought it was funny that the first 3 cards that came out were all about Earth and literally had the word Earth in some way, shape, or form in the name of the card. So the first one, Earth School, it says life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. So all of that makes sense to me. But what really drew me was the imagery of this card itself. So first thing I noticed right off the bat is that the only thing that truly has actual solid form is like from right behind her wrists up to her shoulders. And some of her face. The rest of her is very much so still universal, cosmos, galactic way of being, right? Which it was like, wow, that is so me. When I do my work and I'm up in those higher realms and dimensions, etc., I click, I zoom. That's my jam. That's where I'm at, and it is very challenging for me to be in this body and in this here and now. But I thought, wow, that imagery is just so on target, and seeing how she's coming through that portal way was just. It was just amazing to see that, because it was like, yeah. That's kind of what it felt like. Only not so gracefully. And I'll come back to that. So, and then the other one, this next one, it's called Inner Earth. It's You'll Survive This. New Solutions and Beginnings. And this was just like this amazing breath. An amazing breath. To see this imagery, the richness of the greenery, the water, the beauty, the sky, and having it all look from this cave. And then it struck me that this outlining here of the cave, almost like you're in this cave looking out at all of this, right? And it's like, you can be a part of that. I don't have to stay in the cave. I could step out of that cave and learn to comfortably explore this outer world, which would be Earth, right? And I can do that safely, which is, I'll get more into that in a bit, but that was a concept that I struggle with. Okay. So we have, Earth School, Inner Earth, and then we have Earthed. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? How can it get any clearer, right? So we've got this one, and then we have all this beauty and abundance and this richness, right? And then here we go, Earthed. And I was like, yep, that's how I feel. I'm in my little bubble, and you see on here, she's not actually touching the ground. There is this space, this in-between space, which now makes sense to me why there's a deck that has a card that says in between worlds, or in between something, and it's a flamingo, and half the picture's in color and half of it's in black and white. Can't remember which deck that is in. I think it's Wisdom of Oracle, but bottom line is, it's like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I have been in this type of setting, not just this lifetime, but many, right? And because I'm not grounded, I don't ground, like truly ground with Gaia. I don't have a conversational, easygoing, connected relationship with Gaia. So this seemed very, very relevant for me as just me, and then me as a Hadarian. It also seemed very me, because the short of the long of one of the things that came out in my last session with her, with Shai, was I wanted to come here and experience, and I don't mean here as in this lifetime, I mean here as in my very first all in time of incarnating outside of the cosmos, was this curiosity of, I wonder what it would be like to be in separation between my own inner masculine and feminine selves. So there was literally this ripping apart of my own inner being. And the card she drew was of a falcon or a hawk, one of the two, like nosediving down. And it was like, yeah, that was exactly it. It wasn't this beautiful, graceful thing. It was just this nosedive going in, which I found interesting because I had set this deck down then, and it was like, oh, look at that. Yep, that fence. Jump in. Just jump in. It's like, let's be all in. And it was like, boy, maybe I should stop and think that through next time. And, I'm sure we all think that a lot. But as we continue, right? Perspective, right? And it says none of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. Well, I find that fascinating because my entire perspective about, especially these two, of coming in, right, completely shifted after my session with Shai, because it was like, wow, so much makes sense now why I've struggled so hard with the whole masculine feminine thing, and not being able to basically know how to be feminine other than when I'm working, right? Because when I'm working, that's when she comes out, and other times it's like, and then the masculine has to just kind of, and I get how and why I got there, but which is a whole series all on its own. But the bottom line is that it really changed my perspective, and it really helped me to understand why, one of the many reasons why I'm here. What was the point? What was the purpose? Why did I do this? Okay, so now I understand that it is about bringing myself, within myself, back together again with my masculine feminine selves, so that there's balance, harmony, alignment, connection, to move through the rest of this life experience, having learned that lesson. Now, this to me is colossal, because when I went in and I asked, so because I know I've had several lifetimes in this dimension, this reality, where or this realm, where it's just, I've had a really, really a lot of stuff, and who hasn't, right? And I got that I've actually been wanting to learn this one thing through the millennia's, plural. Well, a millennia is 1,000 years. So I've been doing that, and I didn't bother even to ask how many millennia. It's like, I don't want to know. Um, so anyway, this really shifted my perspective, and I really thought, wow, bigger picture, right? Think about the soul growth that can come from this whole new understanding. Um, at the same time, there is learning and understanding this whole earth stuff. But I also then got this card. I was like, well, then why is this, right? Why is this here? Because you're talking about being here in earth, being present, being, grounded, da 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 da. And it was like, but now I understand, right? It's the breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will. Micromanaging the universe. Yep. Hand up, hand up. But the other part of that, again, it was the imagery in this card that spoke to me even more, for several reasons. So let me just let you look at the card first. So it's the breath of the cosmos, and if you look closely, you can see she's actually breathing into her mouth, literally, the energies, the frequencies of the cosmos. Well, this is where I came from, coming through the eye, right? Of the universe, God, creator, source, utmost high, spirit, whatever that is for you, coming down into this reality. And it's not about getting so into earth and this body that I forget this part. Just like it's important to get to that space to be able to balance and be connected as one, the masculine and feminine, it is the same in being able to be one, connected and balanced in my cosmic galactic self with my earth self. To me, cosmic galactic has more of that masculine energy, and the earth has more of that feminine energy. So again, in essence, it is still about balancing, connecting, and being at one with the masculine and feminine, just on a different level, if that makes sense. And I guess this really came to me because, this card was next, a new earth. It's happening, keep holding the vision. Well, to me, this is more about finding that balance between my cosmic galactic self and my earth self, honoring both, respecting both, and figuring out how to bring both of them to union. And then I drew your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. And when I hold this up, you can notice how these colors, they're in various facets, right? And it's like, how true is that? And if you look closely, this egg that she is in, or this sphere that she is in, is very faceted as well. And it's like, well, because we're not just one-dimensional beings, we're so multifaceted, right? And it really is learning how to move and work with ourselves. So, and the other part of this card for the breath of cosmos, I just wanted to point out, because to me it matters to me because it speaks to me. I don't know if it'll speak to anybody else, but I've learned that the feline line are one of my main protectors. And to me, this part of the card right here looks very much like a big cat's head. This one, if you think about a domesticated cat, when they're sitting looking at you and then they twist their neck and head in that funky weird way they do to lick their fur, that's like when they're trying to do underneath their neck basically, and they can't reach it, but they do that weird thing. And if you're a cat person or have a cat, you know what I mean. That's what that makes me think of. And then we have what to me looks like this bird that is shaped from her hair. And hawks are very much a part of me, and owls, but this looks more like a hawk due to the beak and everything. But anyway, there was just that side note. So I guess the whole point of sharing this is hopefully, for one, for people to realize and understand they're not alone in trying to balance things out within, that for my fellow Hadarians, being here on this planet is a challenge for many of us overall, as far as humanity, and many of us for Hadarians. Coming from an unconditional way of life and a way of being, it is very challenging to come to some place where everything is conditional. And yeah, again, I'm hoping that my sharing that the whole separation and masculine, feminine, struggles and earth and cosmos and all that maybe offers someone their own new perspective of self-understanding, self-honoring. And I feel like it's just really important to honor us where we are, honor yourself where you are. And it's not about judging yourself, just taking these aha moments and going, now I understand. So now I know where to focus. This is my next step, whatever that may be for you. I also wanted to share that I wanted to put this away. I found this card sitting on the top after this one. So after perspective, which again, how ironic is it that it came out behind that one, right? Can't see very well. Okay. We have the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. How better way to describe the whole masculine, feminine balancing process, right? And that I literally purposely, out of curiosity, created this great severing within my own self. And I found it also very personal, I guess, that the first thing about it is Mars energy, because again, I'm a quintuple Aries, and my Mars is, the whatever people call that for astrology, that's my ruling planet as an Aries, times 5. So it's just, yeah. So anyway, I hope that this helped anybody in some way. I hope it was supportive and possibly opened you up to your own aha moment. So this is part 1, and I am now going to get ready to go do part 2. See you there.